STPL.
Hello guys and welcome to today's STPL. If you've not seen the Shinhan Tank Pro League before, this is the format. All the games are best of 5. When I say all the games, all the matches, it is a team league. The first 4 games are all played at the same time, and the 5th set is the ace match, which means if it goes 2-2, every player can play again and will fight for the victory for their team. Our map pool this season is Hitchhiker, Montreal SE, Core Breach, Tripod, Andromeda, Byzantium 3, Fantasy 2, and La Mancha. And so it's been a pretty good season so far. We've had some good games already, and hopefully we'll have a good couple of series coming up today. Starting us off is going to be DM Clan versus ReV. Now, I don't know if you guys can see, Lottie is with me, and she's actually blocking me from being able to block up that gap. So you guys get to see a little bit of my sofa in the background. But essentially, DM versus ReV should be fun. Just want to quickly check something. Lottie's getting fed up with me talking already, so she's just going to go past and just go to do whatever she wants to do. But it should be kind of cool. Looking forward to it. I've actually kind of been a little bit immersed in VR chat over the weekend, so it's kind of weird to actually be back streaming and stuff again, even though it was only 2 days. Essentially, I found there's a lot of Japanese people on VR chat, so I can finally practice everything I've been learning the last 9 years, and it's just fun to meet other people. But regardless of that, let's get in to introduce our teams. Or let's look at the ranking table first of all. Actually, I've not actually put the rankings up, given week 1 was over, but we've got 11 teams this time. One team will always have a bye each week, so in week 1 that was red, which is why they sit direct center of the table. The top 6 teams will be the ones advancing from this season. Now, there are still a good amount of stuff going on, and Lucky Noob, you're doing an incredible job with those cheerfuls, man. It's really, really scary how good they actually are. Although I must admit, the White Clan one actually scared me a little bit. I don't like that one very much. I can't tell if that's a good thing for White or a bad thing. I guess why is there blood coming out of a skull anyway? Oh, it's because it eats the... Oh, I get it. Yeah, it eats the tentacle. Okay, but either way, this is the standings as we stand. We're 1 week in, so not really too much to discern from here, but White Clan actually losing their first match is a massive upset to Eternal Friends, so well done to them. That's going to put White Clan on a bit of a back foot, I guess, at the beginning of the season. Not really the way you want to start off the season, but either way, we're going to be seeing if White Clan can win. No, it's not White Clan we're seeing today, it's Seoul. So Seoul went undefeated in week 1. Let's see if they can do it again. But to start us off here, one thing I do want to point out as well is Kogut. I am looking at the wrong screen, but Kogut has actually managed to take down Noob in terms of ELO, so he's actually going to go above Noob here. FamSE is actually dangerously and quickly moving up the table alongside DeWalt, and Kogut's actually in the top 2 players in the STPL rankings now, which is pretty damn good. And I think if you actually look at the victory rankings, DeWalt is the highest with 42, Then you've got Scan with 37 and then Kogut with 36. So really, really cool. I do kind of want to put some put the victory rankings somewhere because they're kind of cool. But overall, it's been a pretty good season so far to start us off with. Now, I need to make that smaller. There we go. So our first team we're going to be seeing today is going to be DM. Now, DM statistically in Season 2 and Season 1 didn't do that well, but they're doing pretty well now. They did lose out in the ace match, unfortunately, in Week 1. I think they lost out to... Was it Valhalla team they lost to? I can't remember exactly, but when these two teams have faced off historically, DM have definitely had the edge. I think it was actually... Was it the last time they played in Season 2? It's one thing I do want to get up. 1 second, let me have a look here. I need to put it in the overlay somewhere because... Basically, whenever DM and ReV fought in at least Season 1, it was always a little bit more one-sided. It's a little bit unfortunate, but like, I mean, Disturb Mind are a really, really strong team, and initially, there wasn't that many like long-running, good, like, well, not they are good, but like, there wasn't any mainstays in the ReV roster. They changed it up every single week, which made it a little bit harder for them. But in Season 2, they really changed the way it worked almost, because you had Avi and Medino pretty much every single week, and it made them a little bit stronger. But it's just, yeah, it looks like, so they'd won every time up until Season 2. So let's have a look at Clan Revolution themselves. Now, Clan Revolution have unfortunately lost Avilov. He is retired from playing the game, but we do have the addition of Sugo over from Naz. He came out last week and actually won his first game in the ReV roster for them. Pretty cool. They did lose... Oh no, they won their first match this week as well. So this season as well, which is a good start. But we've got Medino there, one of the best players in the STPL. Sugo, one of the best players in the STPL as well. Just really, really strong rosters on both sides here. Looking forward to seeing how they do against each other. Now, how are they going to be matched up? This is where we take a look. Now, we've actually got Pre versus Narsil. Now, Pre is going to be playing Terran, and Narsil going to be playing his Protoss. So I think that's actually going to be all three races we've seen from Pre. He'll join Radley as the only... or the second only player to play all three races at one point in STPL, which is kind of cool. We're going to have a PvT between White and Medino. That's the captain of DM against the Viking Terran. Then we're going to have Tech, the ultimate ace, versus Sugo in a PvP on Andromeda. This is Tech's second PvP and Sugo's second PvP on Andromeda, so it looks like Andromeda a pretty popular PvP map so far. Then we're going to have a ZVZ between Keen and Hirmu. Now Keen, aka Little Chava, you may not know him very well, but at points he wasn't super active. He has signed up for DM this season. He was meant to play in Week 1 but did miss his game, I think, for some reason. But he's back here in Week 2, and he's going to be playing up against his old friend and possibly rival here in Hirmu, as he finds himself in yet another ZVZ. So we'll have to see how that goes. Having a look at our first player here, it's going to be Pre. Now, Pre is arguably the star player for DM. He's actually the captain of DM this season as well. Sorry, Wyatt has stepped back a little bit. But Pre, really, really strong Protoss player. 53% win ratio in TVP, although that's mostly PvP, so we can kind of discount that for now. But his overall win ratio is about 46%, which isn't bad whatsoever. His opponent, going to be Narsil. Now, Narsil, unfortunately, only has a 7% win ratio. But the only way when you're this far down is up, so looking forward to seeing how he's going to do. Now, against Terran, he's not actually had a win so far. Now, he did actually lose against Pre's Terran back in 2018. Now, that was I think, the second time they met ReV on Neo Ground Zero, because that was one of the maps later in the tournament in Season 1. So, is Narsil going to be able to get his revenge here over Pre? As they head into our first map of today, it's going to be Byzantium 3. Now, Byzantium 3 historically was a pretty good map for Protoss. Not too bad for Terran as well, though. We've not seen it in the STPL so far, so we've got no stats to really go from, at least based on this tournament. but it should be really cool. Obviously the main defining feature is much like Gladiator, Neo Jade, and a lot of the other Twilight maps. It does have a low ground main, high ground natural. Now Byzantium was actually one of the first maps that kind of tried this, and it kind of set off a little bit of a just trying to think, like a little bit of a, trying to think of the word in English, but it was a trend. It was a trend. They started off a trend in map making, because until Byzantium there wasn't really any map like it. And then it kind of, well, there wasn't any majorly popular maps like it. Obviously you had stuff like Reverse Temple and whatnot, but it was just kind of cool really to see it here. It made things a little bit good for PvP and stuff like that, but it's actually a really, really fun map, really balanced. Looking forward to seeing how it's going to play out in the modern meta, because it's not really been seen in a tournament, I don't think, since 2009, so it should be fun. So let's not waste any more time, let's get to it. It's game number 1 on Byzantium 3. And the game has begun. Starting us off in the top left-hand position, we have the blue Terran player fighting for DM. It's Pre. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom left-hand position, we have Narsil fighting for ReV. Now I think Narsil is actually our only Portuguese player in the STPL, which is kind of interesting. It's not... what was I saying? Sorry, I just had to go back to 2-pack because I set up the date time wrong on my calendar event. But essentially, Narsil, I think, is the only Portuguese player in the STPL. Kind of cool. It's really nice because in the STPL, where it's a global team league, we have so many different people from so many different places, and they all get to play with each other. And Castimu said, I thought Pre is a Zerg player. He's actually a Protoss. But he does play Zerg and Terran if he needs to. So stepping in the Terran shoes today, he's played Terran in the SCPL before and has won. I mentioned in the opening that he actually beat Pre before as well.
Go ReV.
Thank you, Hienmu, for the 32-month resub, man. Means a lot. One of my founders, one of the greatest supporters of the SCPL. Just while we're getting started as well, I just want to point out that we have some wonderful sponsors this season. We've got Liquipedia, Esport Fund, and Maturino, all three of them really great. Liquipedia, obviously a great encyclopedia resource for esports. Esport Fund, a great fund set up to support tournaments like this one, and Maturino also helping out as well. Now in chat, Castamuse was asking who the opponent was from the game with VT Dot. That was Pre. It is the same Pre, just a slightly different variation of his playstyle here, going to be playing Terran. Pre is joining Radley here and being one of the only... I think he's one of the only two people... Oh my god. Great. I should have been on D&D. I can't believe they did that while I'm casting though. I'm going to really fucking be annoyed with them. It's all cool. It's cool though. I can't believe they don't have anything better to do. But either way, what are we doing? So, we're casting here. We've got a SCV scout out in the middle of the map. Narsil has actually opted not to scout as of yet. So, kind of an interesting play there. You definitely can't... I think you definitely want to scout on this map, especially when you know you're against an opponent who's off-racing as well. Because if it was a PvP, I think it's maybe okay not to scout. Maybe it's not great, but it could be a little bit better. Now, the SCV isn't going to find his opponent, but he could opt to... No, he's not going to build a factory. I was going to say that would be a little bit weird if he chose to build a factory in the other base. He is just playing completely standard, though. Nothing too much to worry about. Now, a second gateway is coming in from Narsil. Now, this is kind of funny in amongst itself, because Pre is actually going to push out with 3 Marines, no, 4 Marines even, and a Vulture. 5 Marines actually. This is such a weird push, a weird timing, coming in here for Pre. I mean, is this going to do anything? I think he's going to try and bunker rush the high ground to stop Narsil from being able to leave his base, but it's not going to do anything. There's 2 Dragoons out already. Another 2 are going to be in production, and range is on the way too. So, I mean, this initial push really shouldn't do anything. And I mean, Pre is going such a strange way to get to his opponent's base here. I don't know if he's kind of baiting him to go past him so he can run into the main and do a ton of damage, but that's definitely an odd place to leave your units here. So gas is starting to be mined, or starting to mine again. We should have... Where is the command center? An engineering bay. Okay, Pre is definitely prepared something a little bit special here, because this is not your ordinary PvT build. TVP build even. Going for an engineering bay before a command center is almost unheard of in like the pro scene. I mean, Pre is going for like the weirdest run by I think I may have had the fortune of seeing here. Now it looks like as soon as Narsil moves out, oh my god, Narsil moves back. There we go, it's going to do absolutely nothing. This vulture is going to go down, the Marines are all going to die as well, and Pre is going to put himself in a really, really weird spot. This is why this isn't kind of common. If you go at the wrong time, like, you just get caught by the Dragoons and you die. Like, there's nothing here that can kill the Dragoons. He's going to try and focus one of them, but doesn't focus fire the hurt one, so that's going to do absolutely nothing. There's a turret coming up at the front. He thinks it's going to be DT, but there's no way DTs could be ready yet. This is definitely a weird start to this game. There's still no second CC. Siege mode is on the way, but if there's one thing I know Pre from his previous games in the STPL, it's the fact that he is just completely ridiculous at drawing out incredibly long games and somehow winning. Like, I don't understand how he does it all the time, but we had like I think it was like a 25-minute ZVP between him and Avi, where he built a Nexus in his base as the first building on Neo Arkanoid. Like, he essentially expanded into his natural, into his main even, which was just strange. But Pre, he can definitely stay in. He can make a game of things that really shouldn't be. And honestly, he didn't lose too much. It's just the fact he's quite behind in the economy that I'm not really sure how he can take this from here and actually make it work. Like, the turret, way too early. And given the fact he plays Protoss, you would think he would know that that was a little bit too early. But maybe he knows Narsil a little bit more because Citadel is on the way. I mean, this is going to be for 2 base Arbiter, so kind of a standard build. Maybe would like to see an expansion from Narsil, knowing the fact that he kind of stopped his opponent really doing anything early on. But I think this is probably why he's clearing this up. Now, if you don't know this about Byzantium 3, there is a mineral only on your high ground.
Whoop whoop.
Thanks, Dave, for the resub, man. Now, let's have a look here. We've got a hidden 3rd base coming in here from Pre. This is the kind of play I expect from Pre. He's very cheeky. He comes up with these like very strategic, weird tactical decisions that honestly shouldn't make sense. But we saw in the game between, it was Tech and VT. Who was it for VT? It wasn't Dog, it was... Okay, basically Tech's first game was actually a TVP, and Tech was miles ahead, and then for some reason Tech didn't scout a hidden base, and that was, that cost him to lose the game, so... Now, the worrying thing is for Pre, Narsil, he's going straight for where this base is. I don't know if he's doing it deliberately. Oh my god, but he's going to find it, isn't he? Look at this. He finds the hidden base. Now, is Pre going to notice the observer there? I'm not too sure. It's quite difficult to see that. You're probably not going to be looking at your building CC. So as long as he waits until it finishes, he can go and snipe 400 free minerals. Monorist says late CC that hidden base. Well, essentially, Pre knew he put himself behind. And Scan once told me, when you're behind, there's two ways you can play. You can either go all in, so Pre could have made 5-6 factories and just gone, or you can play super greedy. Now, he tried to go for the super greedy option, tried to go for a hidden base. We can already see with that good observer movement, Narsil does scout this. Now, Narsil is looking pretty strong in this game. Like, Pre, he's a very strategic player, definitely tries to get one over on his opponents a lot. But unfortunately, it's not working against Narsil. Narsil has Pre's number. He played against this Terran last time. It was 2 years ago, but maybe he saw the game again and remembered what happened. This is looking good for him to finally get his revenge against someone who's been a little bit of a thorn in his side previously, so let's see if he can do it. Now, the armory is coming in at a relatively okay time. I mean, it is a little bit late. It's definitely later than you want to be. Pre's still only on one factory, which is something you definitely don't want. Now, Pre is playing this as if he's playing Protoss. He's got 2 bunkers. Who needs cannons when you get bunkers, you know? He is going to try and get a 3rd base over here. The base is going to survive over in the right-hand side, so Narsil is going to have to keep an eye out to make sure this doesn't land again, because that can definitely cause a problem. Now, Pre checking out the main, sees the gate count. And we'll kind of see how much trouble he's in, because he's up against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gateways with only 1 factory, and that is not a position you want to be in. Starport coming in, which is very early, but I mean, drops can be a good way to come back in as well. But I mean, one thing it is worth pointing out is Narsil doesn't have a 3rd base yet, so the longer this goes on, Pre is still in a position where he can come back. So let's see if he can hold on long enough. Now losing that hero observer from earlier in the game, gonna lose that on a turret at the front. Interestingly, despite the game going on this long, I don't think Narsil's actually got an observer into Pre's base just yet. So Narsil doesn't actually know what he's up against, which can be quite scary as a Protoss player. And I think that's part of the reason why he doesn't want to go for his 3rd base just yet. Obviously, we will have the 1st Arbiter finishing up either very soon or already finished. I think, yeah, he's already got it. Going for Stasis first as well. Now, this is a pretty good place to recall, so I mean, going for Stasis, I wouldn't normally say going for recall first is a good choice, but in this case specifically, it might be pretty good. And look at this! Pre has actually landed his CC. And Narsil, oh my goodness, Narsil ran away. Narsil's checking the other base because he's like, well, where have you put your CC? It must have gone somewhere. And now Pre is actually going to be mining the back of the minerals. And, oh, thank you. It was linked, but then the event got changed. So let's just do that again. Thanks for the heads up. But yeah, look at this. Pre is going to be mining from the back of the minerals. Going to be able to very steadily get gas from that base. You can see Narsil is checking every other base on the map where this could be, but not the main. He just doesn't think he would possibly land it there, because who would? But this is Pre. Never count anything out for Pre. Now, we're finally starting to see a little bit of a factory flood here from Pre. We're going up to 5 with the science facility. Now, not building any tanks at the moment is quite risky. You're going to be up against Arbiter, you're going to be up against a ton of gateway units, and while mines are good, they're not that good. Now, I guess you could say that because Pre is a Protoss player, mainly, maybe he's got a weird form of PTSD about losing all his units to mines, but I don't know. Now, this is a very interesting move, sending that Vulture down there. May tip the Dragoon off to something being in that base. The probe up here, not going to do anything. Now, this Vulture, if it runs towards the other stuff, this is not good. But it looks like he is going to keep the Dragoon out of the base, at least now. And he's floating away. Oh, evacuation play. I don't know why he's lifting, though. I think he's a little bit worried that Narsil will go and see it, but it's kind of funny in the fact... Oh, he's going back to the other base. Oh no, he's not. And that SCV never actually built a command center. This is such a weird thing. This is such a weird situation to watch. We've got a 4th base now for Narsil. Narsil in a very, very good position in this game. Double Stargate. Gonna be finishing up here. Narsil doesn't necessarily need to push or do anything out of the ordinary. He is maxed. He just needs to bank and then go on a little bit later. Looks like the SCV was cleaned up over here, and a pylon will be placed just to kind of block any possible expansions. Now, Bree is mining again from the other main, so he is technically on the 3rd base. Not that it really counts. Why doesn't he just send an observer to check if the CC is still floating? Like, this seems very wasteful having Dragoons everywhere. Okay, we got more and more missile turrets coming in at the front. Tanks sieging on top of mines. Definitely not what you want to see as a Terran player. Arbiter energy coming in. Recall I think was already done. Now what are the upgrades looking like? We've got +1 for our Protoss player. Oh, we've got triple dropship. This is a pre-special. This is such a funny thing that you see pre- Ghosts. It's pre. It's Radley. Radley's here. He's taken over, but here we go. The Arbiter are going to be coming in here now. Covert Ops is done. Vision implants are coming in for these ghosts, so he's going to be able to get more vision. Oh, lockdown! Oh, lockdown on the Arbiter. Full energy. Bam, there it goes. Pre, what a tactical genius. Who does that? Damn, that's so good.
PogChamp, PogChamp, PogChamp.
Ah, thank you for the sub, Josh.
PogChamp, POV Champ, PogChamp.
Oh, I didn't play the whole thing. Oh, yes, it did. Okay, well, looks like Pre wants to move out.
Cough, 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 cough.
I can't believe you did that. You know, I'm just going to take your money and just be happy with that. But Pre making a little bit of a weird decision here, pushing Unsieged over everything here. Little bit unfortunate, doesn't want to lose his units. I mean, ghosts are fun, but if you don't have like energy or anything, you can't really do anything with them. And now, oh no, it looks like his hidden base has been found. He actually took the gas. He had the gas over that base. Now, there is an Arbiter here. Technically, this ghost and the Goliath can kill this. He is going to be able to kill this. It's a little bit unfortunate. And also, definitely don't want to be losing Arbiters like this. Like, he's going to lose another one down here in the middle of the map. The Dragoon's going all the way over here to try and kill the base before it lands. But why didn't he learn from earlier in the game? This CC can just sit here. It doesn't really need to do anything. You know what? It'd actually be a good idea just to build a single Corsair or a Scout.
PogChamp.
Thanks, Dan, for the 16-month resub, man. Thank you. Now we've got Narsil getting ready to take the other 2 mains right now. Narsil definitely feeling very confident in this game. No nuclear silo has been constructed just yet by Pre, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any nukes anytime soon. But as you can see, the main is mined out. The main gas is over halfway done. The nat gas is still quite healthy, but this is a 2-base Terran essentially, and one of them is only a mineral only. Now we do have an expansion coming up over here. That's going to help clean that up. But Pre needs to get something done. Like, Narsil is banking a ton of money right now. He's got units all over the place. Yes, maybe I would feel a little bit better if we saw Narsil actually attack. Because it feels like if you attack here, you've got such a good bank. Pre does not have the kind of army that he wants. To be able to do anything. Now, there's 3 dropships. They didn't drop those tanks anywhere. They couldn't find any damage. Pre is going to be moving around the map with his vultures, trying to find openings. Now, the trouble is, the longer this game goes on, the whole map is just going to be red. And that was a legit ghost. We saw a legit lockdown. And now we have a legitimate nuclear silo. So, looks like Pre is trying to steal the title of Ghost King. I'm sure Radley will have something to say about that when he debuts back in week 3. I think he was in the roster. Yeah, Radley is actually making it. The Ghost King is making his debut back in STPL next week on Core Breach. And the colors are really red versus blue, and they're also the observing colors as well. So even if I press Shift Tab, it doesn't do anything. The game was hosted as per the rules on top versus bottom, so no problems here. Now, this is the problem we're going to have. Narsil is going to run up here to this base. There's not actually that much here to defend. The mine's coming in, but where are the tanks? There's just none. Oh my god, he's land. Oh my god, the stasis. The stasis at the back. Looks like this ghost is running away from the zealot. Oh, the ghost goes down. This is going to be one dead base up here in the middle. But actually building a nuke. Building a nuke down there. Oh my goodness. But let's go back up here to have a look. But that stasis, very, very good. We've got vultures on the high ground, unable to really push in anywhere. And the trouble is, if the vultures are on that high ground, they're not back at home defending. Now we're going to have a new... Oh, the ghost coming in. Oh. Nuclear missile. Come on. Where's he nuking? Okay, he's holding it. He's waiting. This is a cannon coming up, so if he gets in range, he'll be in trouble. But the funny thing is, there's a nuclear silo here as well. Does he even have a nuke? No, he's not got the nuke ready yet. Okay, so we know where this nuke is going to be coming out of. That's why he's waiting. He has lost his 4th base, but another base has been constructed over here. I want to keep an eye on this ghost. Here we go. Okay, the nuke is going to be coming. The nuke is coming. There it goes. There's no probes here, which is a little bit unfortunate. The Dragoon's going to run away. Oh, the probe doesn't know about it. He's going to build a gateway. That's going to go down. Looks like this dropship is going to go down here. Lots of units coming back here. This could be a major, major problem. There goes the nuke. Boom goes the dynamite. And look at this. The tank drop. Gonna finish this Nexus off. Who needs EMP and a nuke when you have that? And a second nuke is coming up here. Look at this. Pre is really learning from the Ghost King here, just completely picking apart his opponent. Narsil hasn't seen this. If he loses everything here, this is going to be a massive problem. Other probes are pulling away, but the nuke is going to go down, kill all of these cannons, and badly damage the Nexus. That's 2 bases, and this base has been cleaned out. What a god. Pre definitely showing the strategic genius he is this game. Really taking ghosts, I mean, we've seen a lockdown, we've seen nukes. What more could you ask for? And this ghost is still alive. Is there another nuke coming in? I doubt it. Yeah, we've got no more nukes coming in, so that ghost is actually going to die. Now, one thing he could do, if he had energy, is lock down a Dragoon on the ramp. And then Pre's army gets stuck down there, but unfortunately he doesn't have the energy for that. He did manage to hold on to that for a while, but we've still got Narsil in a relatively good spot. Now let's check the upgrades. Obviously, the better the upgrades get for Terran, the harder it is for Protoss. Now, the Arbiter came in, did get EMP'd before it could stasis or anything like that. Narsil's army is actually a little bit out of position. That Ghost really, really screwed things up a little bit. Now, it looks like the Ghost is going to try and hide away from that Dragoon. The energy is about to go down. The nuke is on the way. But it's way far away. This ghost should probably hide in the bottom right of the main or something. Here we go. Looks like we are going to have Narsil moving forward. EMP was used on the Arbiter before. There's no more energy. And I mean, Narsil's pushing through a small choke and down a ramp. And that is definitely not working out for him. So Pre is going to be able to turn himself back up to 4 bases. Not too bad. Now... Oh, that's another CC. I was hoping that was going to be a barracks, but oh, he got the ghost away. Ghost is away. He's going to be regenning mana, so that's pretty good for him. Now, Narsil is actually mined out as mineral only. His natural is almost gone. His main is gone. He's got a fleet beacon, though. Oh my goodness. Are we going to have Ghost versus Carriers? Yeah, we are. Ghost versus Carriers. I really hope we get lockdown Carriers. I really want to see it. That's on my bucket list of STPL stuff going on, because we haven't seen that so far. Is it... Okay, no, you can see it. I was going to see, is he really going to build a nuke silo up here as well? That would be so, so good. Now, Narsil going to build a Nexus on the remains of his old one. The nuke has finished. Ghost is regenerating energy. This command center is going to go down, at least for now. Looks like Pre getting ready to move out on the map with his Goliaths. Here come the first carriers, though. And there's not actually that much to defend, so this CC could actually go down. He's not repairing. I'm not really sure what he's looking at. Looks like he's going to be looking at his ghost. Doesn't want to do that, but is going to go for a nuke. Coming out over here, that's going to come down. We'll have to keep an eye on that, but the CC has gone down over here, which is definitely not something you want to happen. Now, with this, with these carriers coming in, let's tab back over to have a look at this nuke. We'll clear the bottom part of the screen so we can see the devastation as Narsil. Wait, did the ghost die? Oh, the ghost died. Narsil killed the ghost, I didn't realize. Well, that's unfortunate. But yeah, these carriers definitely looking pretty good. Do we have any ghosts back at home? Pre is completely mined out now. I don't think there's any additional ghosts. I don't think he ever actually built any, so there's going to be no lockdown. Oh, there is. Okay, there's 2 ghosts. They don't have enough energy for lockdown yet. We don't have much in terms of anti-air, but looks like the top right base is going to go down. The carriers are way out of position. The Arbiter not going to be able to stasis on the ramp, so not going to be able to save this top right base. But the carriers, they're getting closer and closer. They're killing more and more CCs here, but they are taking a lot of damage from the turrets, at least the interceptors. Pre getting ready to expand up to the top right. You can see there is a zealot there to try and stop this, but doing his best to try and keep that alive. Now, is there going to be lockdown? Here comes the first lockdown. Is it going to be good? It's coming in. It's not cloaked. But here they go. 2 lockdowns immediately. Bang and bang. That's going to be 2 dead carriers, but there's not actually enough anti-air to kill them. This is the awkward situation you can be in when you go ghost, when you spend all of your gas on getting the energy. It looks like he is going to be able to get one of the carriers, but not the other one. No, the carrier's not going to go down. I mean, he's attacking one of the carriers that's attacking him, which isn't necessarily too bad. But there is another ghost here. It's almost gone. Oh no, the mine drag. Killing the ghost. Now, we do still have... He's going to mine from the bottom right again. Oh my goodness, Pre. You certainly know how to make a game entertaining, man. Now, there is 8 Marines in a bunker, so they're going to shred through these interceptors like butter. I know the interceptors don't have any shield upgrade or armor upgrades, so that's something. They do have +1 attack, though. Carriers still coming out. If we can get a good EMP on these, maybe we can get a couple of carrier snipes. There is a couple that are very low on health, but unfortunately, there just isn't really enough anti-air. The turrets, though, targeting the carriers down. Not doing too bad here. Pretty good job here by Pre. A pretty good job, you might say. But Pre is going to be able to expand to the 12 o'clock position. He's down to 26 SCVs. They're both mining from the bottom right-hand base now, which is something you don't see every day. Looks like the tanks in the middle are going to be cleaned up before they can go and kill the additional expansions, which is not too good for Pre. Losing the engineering bay is actually a big problem. You don't really want to do that, because you do need turrets. Oh, Zealot's going down to mines, but not quite good enough. We're bringing a lot of Marines with our push here. Is he just going to go all in? It feels like he's... Oh my god, there's 2 Zealots attacking all of his SCVs. That is something you definitely don't want to have happening right now. And as he goes over there, the carriers are going to get into the main. They snipe the armory. I believe that was the only armory in the game. There may be a second one, but I think it's just gone down. And I mean, these carriers are just completely unkillable. He's killed the last scanner. Now, there's one more scanner on the map. So that means DTs are going to do a ton of damage. We've actually got Medic Marine coming in here. Did he build additional barracks? No, he didn't. But that SCV going to scout to see what's left in the top right. In the bottom right, even. There's just too much. Oh, lockdown coming in. Does get a lockdown. The stim on the Marines coming in. No range is done, I don't believe. But he does get one of the carriers. Is going to get the second one as well. Lockdown coming in clutch. Going to get a couple of kills. Going to move forward. I wonder if there was an EMP that went off there. Yeah, he got an EMP off on the carriers as well, so doing a ton of damage to those. Nicely done. And these tanks are down here in the bottom right. Looks like this CC is going to be climbing its way back up to the top right. And if he can kill this bottom right-hand set of bases, Narsil is completely mined out. Yes, he has this base over here. It's not mining. There's probes transferring into the tank fire. Oh my goodness, so much devastation going down on this probe count for now. And these carriers, they're going to have to respond, and you can already see Pre is taking all of his units through the middle of the map. If he can snipe a carrier here, it could actually be pretty good. Enough energy is collected now for lockdown. One of the bases goes down, is going to be able to push into the main as well. Now DTs are going to be the great equalizer, and oh no, Arbiter's coming in. There's actually nothing that he can do against it. One lockdown goes down, but I think the lockdown was on an interceptor or something. And here comes the Arbiters. They're going to cloak all of the interceptors. There's no scan available here. And that's going to clean absolutely everything. A nuke goes down, unfortunately. I think there's a nuke over here. No, there's no nuke in this one. But there is going to be a ghost down here checking for this base. The ghost gets away. The tanks did manage to clean up the base, but are going to go down. And there's just very little left for poor Pre to defend with. Now, he does have a base in the top middle still. It's keeping him in the game, but he just can't deal with the economy Narsil has, and more importantly, he can't kill the carriers. Oh my goodness. I think he walked into a million mines. That's not what Narsil wanted to do. But looks like Zealot's going to go up here to try and clean out this base. The CC is going to be forced to lift again. This is like the 10th time I think the CC has been lifted. There it goes again. And they, oh my god, mines. Oh no! The mines chained into each other. That is so funny. Oh my goodness, and he's baiting the Zealots into the other mines. What a king. Oh no. Oh no, the mines. The mines. No! No! No, Narsil! Oh, no, that was like 5 Zealots go down. Now, 3 heavily damaged Zealots are going to waddle their way into the only remaining mining base here of Pre. We've got the carriers coming up here as well. There is Arbiter's full energy. He can actually start recalling the carriers around. Now, we do have 1 lockdown available. Is there 2? Yeah, 2 lockdowns available. If he can lock down the Arbiters. Oh, no, Stasis. Oh, Stasis on the Ghost. There we go. He does get 1 lockdown, but unfortunately, that's not enough. And this base is going to go down, and the game will be heading to Narsil, but you can't say that we didn't have an entertaining first game here in the STPL. Good game. Pre taps out, and Narsil wins game number 1, and he actually wins his first game in over 10 games, I believe. Let me just double check that. No, sorry, it's his first game in 8 games, so good job, Narsil. Did a fantastic job there. Little bit of a weird game, but still a very well-deserved victory. Good job by him. And let's have a look as the score's going to update. That's going to put ReV at a 1-0 lead. That's not going to be where DM want to be, because obviously ReV did really strong in Season 2, but DM didn't really have that success, so they want to find that again. Now, they did go to the ace match against Valhalla team, but Pre unfortunately couldn't win his game there, so that's going to be the second game in a row Pre is gonna finish. So I'm going to go for a very quick break, and when I get back, we'll go into game number 2. See you guys then.
STPL Season 3. Yeah. STPL DAS. Bio TVP? Wow! No problem. We got dragons to defend. Yeah. STPL DAS. STPL DAS. Mass Scout? Oh, I'm so afraid. We got Hydralisk to defend. Yes. STPL. STPL. Fantastic production. Fantastic casters. Fantastic prize pool. Only in STPL.
Outstanding. Rock and roll.
Okay, it's time for a quick tip. Here we have Neo Outlier. I'm going to show you how to get over these temples with a probe. I'll also do it with an SCV and a drone as well. So what you do is you essentially send the probe up to mine, you press stop, and you go to build a pylon. Now you build the pylon underneath you, so essentially it's going to push you, then you spam right click, and all of a sudden you are through. And here is the same trick with Terran. There's a couple of ways you can do this. One of them is you build a depot, and you essentially cancel building, and you just spam yourself through. You have to be kind of stuck or either on the building in the temple or there, but you can cancel that. And just to show, you can do it both ways as well. Okay, now there's a way you can do this with just 2 workers, which is the only way Zerg are able to do this. You can also do this with Protoss and Terran as well. So essentially, you get both workers lined up here. You mine with 1 worker. You send the second worker to mine just behind it, and you hit stop. It can be a little bit finicky, so don't worry if you don't get it first try. We got it. No we didn't. Yes we did. Okay, so that didn't go perfectly. You can do it a lot better than that, but it does take a little bit of practice. So just keep trying, and you will eventually get it. And you'll find it actually has quite a lot of uses in various different maps. Okay guys, welcome back to the STPL Season 3. We're on week 2 now, day 1. We just saw a crazy PvT, and thank you Groglog for telling me I've just updated it again. I don't know what keeps happening there, but just to answer Burrow Rush's question in chat, I didn't actually get that drone thing done first time. It took me like 3 or 4 times. Ariador coming in here saying drone drilling past minerals is very easy. Well, I'm sorry Ariador, I am not cool. Yeah, essentially let's introduce our next couple of players. Starting us off here for DM is going to be their co-captain, or their like, I don't know if he's still the captain or if he stepped down, but Pri has kind of taken over the STPL duties. But DM White, really, really cool Protoss player to watch. He hasn't actually won against Terran yet, which is a little bit unfortunate, especially because his opponent is going to be the one, the only, the Viking Terran, and I would hope I've actually picked a different screen. Viking Terran Medinio, really, really strong Terran player from Norway. One of the better Norwegian players as well at the moment. He's doing really well in the BSL. He actually took down Dandy and Terra to go first out of his group in the BSL round of 16 to make it into the round of 8. He's ranked 12 in the STPL, and he's just a really awesome player. And my favorite thing is, I've somehow managed to make the Viking Terran thing stick, because Rapid's using it in BSL, and now I've seen other people using it as well. So I feel a little bit proud about that. But he is the Viking Terran. He can play random, really, really good 2v2 player. And that trick you just saw in the new Outlier video, that's actually going to come in handy as we go into our next map. It's going to be the one, the only, the wonderful Monty Hall SE. Now, Monty Hall SE has a lot of those mineral walls absolutely everywhere. There's some really cool specific map strategies you can have here. You can end the game very quickly if you know what you're doing. But the other thing you can do is you can actually have really long and really cool macro games. Like macro games on this map are really, really fun. One of the most famous Monty Hall games ever was the game where Boxer went lockdown against Nalra's ghosts, Nalra's carriers on this map. He did eventually lose. The Emperor did fall to Nalra, but either way, it was an amazing game. That was on the original version of Monty Hall. This was like the SE version. Somehow, you wouldn't think this map would be very balanced, but in the Pro League stats, it was actually quite close. So, looking forward to seeing as we get into this game how it's going to look in the modern meta. And Burrow Rush is saying, I wonder why they call this map Monty Hall. Well, I'm guessing it's something to do with the Monty Hall problem. But I can't remember what the Monty Hall problem is, so let's not bring that one up. But it's really, really fun. It's a really good map. Let's get into the game. The game has begun, and starting us off here in the top left-hand corner in the orange from Norway, it's the Viking Terran, it's Medinho. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right-hand corner, fighting for White Clan, not White Clan, damn it, fighting for DM. It's White from Chile. Now it'll be interesting to see if any of our players have anything interesting prepared for this map. It's quite an interesting map. There's some very specific strategies you can go for. Now, just because this is the first time we're seeing Monty Hall and it is kind of weird, let's zoom out a little bit. You'll see that you have your main base. There's quite a big area that you can defend, and you can obviously build all the buildings in. Now, the reason why I think this is a reference to the Monty Hall problem is you have 3 ways out of your base. All of them are blocked by these minerals. They are quite easy to mine through, so you can do it. But you can either go right, you can go down the middle, or you can go left. Now, if you go through the middle, you open a path a little bit quicker to get to your opponent from, and that actually goes through the middle of the map here, which is very wide open. There's no buildable terrain in the center of the map, so Terran will never, ever want to push through here whatsoever. It's just not worth it, especially against Protoss. But that leaves Terran with the option of going right and left, although I guess in this case it'd be top and bottom rather than right and left. But you can see it's still quite open. There is a lot of buildable terrain here in the middle, and then you do have a base down here. You have these kind of weird outside bases in the bottom left and the top right up here. And just overall, it's a really, really fun map. So we do see that White did glitch a probe through to actually expand straight away. Now this map is kind of a little bit like a Neo-Arkanoid in the fact that you can play very, very specific, very interesting, like strategic timing rushes on this map. But you can also play super macro games. It's crazy. Now, is Medinho gonna... oh my god, he's gonna hide a factory, isn't he? Oh, Medinho came prepared for this map. This is absolutely awesome. I love watching Medinho play, and this is why he is so strategic. I know I kept going on about how Pre was a really strategic player, whatever race he plays, but Medinho, he is the kind of person that will do stuff that no other player will do. He will raid your base, which is why he's the Viking Terran, with a lot of different ways, and it's really fun to see. Now, the interesting thing... oh my god, is White going to build a probe up here? A pylon? If he scouts this factory is going to do nothing. But he's... oh my god, he looked for it. He was like, have you proxied in my base? And he's like, no, you haven't, it's fine. But little does he know, the proxy's coming from outside the house. As it's going to lift up, it's going to drop into the main, and that's going to allow him to build vultures in his opponent's base. We'll have a command center coming in up here. Most likely going to use it to mine out the middle here and then go through the middle, but here we go. Here comes that factory. DM White has absolutely no idea this is coming his way. Now, he has mined out the center here, so he is going to be able to get his probes away. But where he delayed his Cybernex core so much, the first Dragoon isn't even done. So this Vulture is not going to do anything. Sorry, this Vulture is going to do a ton of damage. Medinho getting ready to move back. Not really... I do wonder what his backup plan is going to be here. He's going to build a factory back at home, but... I mean, this is very much a one punch and hope you can win the game with it. Because if you're a factory down, you're in... well, you would normally be in deep trouble. Like we saw Pre in the last game getting a little bit outgunned for the vast majority of the time. Now, here we go. It does take 2 vulture shots to kill a probe, so he's going to come in. 3 probes have been sniped. 4 probes. 5 probes. Only 5 probes so far, but the vulture is still alive, and I've somehow managed to click the one that did get all the kills. He is going to be able to get 6 probes here. 7 probes most likely. Could get an 8th. Don't think he'll get a 9th. Oh, another vulture comes in. That's 9. That's 10. Okay. No, that's 9. Sorry, that's 10. Oh my god, is he going to get one more? 11. Man, DM White has already lost 11 probes. Another vulture going to come in here. DM White is going to be so frustrated. He checked up there. And oh my god, he's going to get the 13th probe. Unlucky 13 for DM White here, as he is still not knowing that, like, Medino is just literally queuing up vultures right now. And White is unable to go and, like, scout for this. This is very much reminiscent of the Flash game against Zero on Hitchhiker, where, like, Zero knew that there was, like, vultures coming from over somewhere, but he couldn't actually send any units to go and kill them, and this is what happens. Another probe goes down, another one, that's 15, I think it is now, 16. 16 probes, there's another few vultures going to be coming in. The Dragoons are finally going to come up here. Now, does he have mines coming in? No, the mines are only just starting. Can you imagine if he had mines to defend this? Now, he is going to lose another vulture. Going to cancel the queued up ones, going to fly the factory away. But the vulture, or the factory could technically land here, build a machine shop and start building tanks. Like, I don't think that's what we're going to see, but it wouldn't surprise me given the fact it is Medino now. Medino getting ready to go through there. The SCV is getting a little bit confused, given the fact they're trying to go to the closest command center. But overall, this has been a pretty cool game so far. You can see DM White is getting ready to go through the middle of the map. He knows, given the fact he's basically scared away a factory, that his opponent is going to have too many units back at home. But Medino is actually opting to push forward here. He's not going to go around the sides. He's just going to open up the middle and likely get ready to do a big timing push. Now, this is the other Medino special. His longboats are going to be coming out here in this game, and that's when things really start to get a little bit worrying here for our Protoss. Obviously, DM White has already lost 13, 14, 15 probes already, and if those dropships start to come in, like, you can just about see it. This is actually a droppable ledge, I believe, over the natural, and that's going to make things very difficult. Now, one thing I really want to check is if you can drop ghosts in this location. If you could, that's going to be so good. Looks like a vulture going to try and get around here. Is looking for any probes coming through the middle of the map. Unable to find them. But I'm not really sure where this probe is going. There's not an expansion in the middle of the map. So, oh, the mine! Oh my goodness, that mine did so much damage. That is so good. For a second I thought that probe set off the mine. I was like, wait, how? Yeah, but he can't really push forward anymore. So that's the way we're going to be going here. Now here comes the first longbow into this game. Medino not actually going to pick up all 4 of his vultures. Going to leave one back at home. For some reason all the SCVs are pulled off. I think he's getting ready to defend the bunker. But White isn't actually going to be able to push in anyway. I guess what he's doing is, because where he's dropping, he expects White to go all in. Now, he's like, oh my god, he actually did it. I can't believe I didn't catch it, but he glitched a vulture over the mineral line with a mine. That's something you can do. You can do it over pylons and buildings as well. And he doesn't get any kills with that vulture, but that's kind of a distraction force because his other longboat is coming in here. This is big enough for a single tank. We've now got that on core breach as well, but here we go. Looks like it's going to drop the vultures off here in the mineral line. There's absolutely nothing here to defend. The one cannon out of position. The other vulture is actually going to drop into the main here, lay mines to stop units coming back to defend this. And this is so frustrating for White to deal with. Like, there's no second vulture here, so he is going to be leaving that. The vulture's getting in, doing more damage to the probe line. Like, Medino just never stops raiding your bases. That's why he's the Viking Terran. It fits perfectly, man. And there's even vultures now moving through the middle of the map. There is some units back here to defend. I mean, this vulture is still alive. He's eventually, and when I say eventually, maybe in like 10 years, he's going to be able to kill this Nexus. And the factory's landed again. He can keep building vultures. Okay, the vulture has been cleaned up in the natural. That's at least something for poor White, who's found himself horrifically being harassed the entire game. The guerrilla tactics from Medino definitely coming in into effect in this game. We've got another dropship coming in this time. It's going to be a tank. He'll probably drop one tank here. and one on the high ground. Gonna make it incredibly annoying to clean up. But let's see what Medina's gonna do. He's actually gonna drop. Oh, he's just gonna push with these. That's a very weird decision to make, but oh, he's picking up the vultures from the middle, but he didn't even pick up all of them. So he's going to use the vultures to put down mines. One of the vultures is going to run in on its own. Now he could actually drop an SCV down into the bottom left-hand corner. There's a CC because he's going to expand to the very top right-hand corner. And here we go. Looks like we are going to have a tank on the high ground. Very, very cool to do on this map. Very on fleek for this map for sure. Now White has got to pull his probes immediately. We've actually got another vulture coming in here, getting ready to go towards the main, but it... Can you actually drop on top of this tank? You can't find a space to drop. That's it. The tank is on the high ground. It's not coming off. Look at the mischance. Wow. Oh, man. That's so unfortunate. But the CC going to be going up to the top right. Vulture. Couple of them here getting ready to go on. Okay, so here he goes. It's so hard to do this with mines. But it looks like Medina's getting ready for it. Oh, looks like Dragoon's gonna put an end to... Oh, the mine! Oh yeah, they can't go through the minerals. Okay. Well, that mine is definitely gonna be a little bit weird, but there we go. Oh my god, Lucky Noob in chat just said there were too many Anakins on the low ground. Why did that make me laugh so much? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so stupid. I laugh at the stupidest things, man. But back to the game. DM White pushing through the middle of the map with a ton of Dragoons here now to do this build. Medino actually delayed his armory a ton. He's only just now got his armory. It's about halfway through the upgrade. We've got Medino getting ready to move across with some more units. There is a vulture down here. The factory is actually going to fly back into the Dragoons, so that's something he doesn't want, but... Third base is coming up in the top right. Fourth base coming up here over on the right as well. Interesting he's expanding there and not to the base that's right outside of his main. But I guess he's expecting DM White not to push that way, given the fact he's not actually opened up the middle yet. Here we go. Vultures coming in once again to the the main mineral line. It's 64 SCVs against 29 probes. Like, this is incredibly unfortunate for our Protoss player here. It looks like this may have actually triggered an all-in here from White as he gathers all of his forces in the middle. He's not coming back to defend at all. Oh, there we go. Zella getting cleaned up by the mine as well for extra value. Now it's actually going to be 4 bases against 3. Now this is going to be 4 gas as well. Medino has gone immediately into gases at both of those other bases. Oh my goodness. Am I in heaven? Am I... are we having 2 ghost days in one... 2 ghost games in one day? Oh, Medino, you may not focus very often, but you're definitely focused on this game. This is going to be awesome. Now, White is going to pull back. There's another... Oh, that's a mine. I thought it was another vulture in the base. But look at the amount of tanks here. Can you imagine if there was a single stasis? Medino would just die. But the trouble is, White's economy... I mean, he's still on 3 gates. Like, he doesn't have any tech. He's got the Citadel of Adun, and that's it. Like, that's not where you want to be. Now, Cloak... coming in first. Lots of vultures coming in here for Benino now because he knows he has enough. Now going to be nuclear silo at this base. Nuclear silo at that base. Oh my god, this is like the ultimate dream. Like 2 nuke games in 1. Now the trouble is, Medino is so far ahead, I kind of get the feeling that White might leave before he gets nuked. And this kind of... At this point, it kind of feels like a ceremony, you know. It's a ceremony. It kind of feels a little bit bad for White because White has fought his hardest, but he keeps getting pulled left and right by vulture raids, left and right by dropships. And I mean, White is finally taking a 3rd base of 14 minutes, and he's still only got 34 probes. Like, he's just not been able to rebuild his probe count. Now, nuclear silo is building a nuke, 2 nukes as well. Not gonna ruin that concept, but here we go. Looks like we are gonna have some SUVs transported up here. We've got double nukes on the way here. Is this 1940s USA? Not too sure, but looking like it. That's actually really distasteful. I'm very sorry. Shouldn't have made that joke. Yeah, this is definitely not looking good. We've definitely got a Cold War race going on here with one side building nukes and the other one not. So, kind of USA versus Iran, I guess. But either way, looks like White is going to be able to expand to the top right base, or the middle base. Now, the important thing for White is the fact that he knows his opponent is going to be mining up his main, and it's kind of funny, fortunately, because he lost so many probes, because he lost so many probes, like, he's still nowhere near mined out in his main and natural, so... let's have a look. We've got a second armory coming in here. +2 attack, I believe this must be. Come on, you can't push out. Yeah, he's got +1 attack, but you can't push out until you've nuked. Like, that's it. We've got... Not a ghost. Okay, so where are the ghosts? Here comes one. Nuke is going to be on the way. Let's have a look for where it comes out of.
Nuclear launch detected.
There goes that nuke. Do we have a second ghost coming in? Oh, no, he left the game. No, you can't leave the game. No! You have robbed us! White, what have you done? Oh my god, nuked out of the game. Very unfortunate there for White, but he was up against one of the stronger foreign Terrans at the moment, the Viking Terran, constantly proving why his name is what it is. Such a good player, such a good game. I'm going to quickly go and get a drink, and when we get back, we'll be heading into game number 3. It's going to be... Who is game number 3, actually? I can actually just check on my overlay. Where are we? Game number 3 is going to be Tech versus Sugo. It's a PvP on Andromeda. See you when I get back. Okay, starting us off here in the top left-hand position, we have someone who's doing something a little bit cheeky here. In the blue, I guess this is, fighting for Valhalla team from South Korea. It's Moray. STPL's back. Now here we go, we see the probe proxying a pylon in the middle of the map. We'll obviously have to keep an eye out what this is going to be, of course. It's going to be a gateway. Is it going to be one gateway, or is it going to be two? Or is it going to be a forge for a cannon rush? Now, Kwanwoo was actually scouting there for his ramp to see if a probe was coming into his main, but doesn't quite see it. Now, Kwanwoo is actually going to be gateway scouting, which is a little bit late, but let's see if Kwanwoo sees it. Oh my god. Oh, he sees the pylon! It was misplaced! Kwanwoo knows there is a proxy gate. Wow, Moray actually really bold here, expecting his opponent not to scout. I think Kwanwoo might be a Korean American, I'm not too sure. It's been a long time since we've seen him, but here we go. Double gateway, count them 1, 2, in the middle of the mall. In his opponent's base, essentially. But we've got a, oh my god, we've actually got a pylon coming in here to get the battery on the high ground. This really is a replay of Best versus Bisu. Wow. Let's see how this is going to go. But looks like Moray's probe is going to get into the main. There is another pylon coming up here from Kwanwoo to try and get the shield battery a little bit closer. And now obviously the probe in the opponent's base is not going to be able to do too much. The first zealot is going to be out at the same time here for Kwanwoo, chasing down the probe, doing the best job it can to keep that probe away from building a shield battery, but now has to wait for those zealots coming in. What a great PvP to start us off with. Shield battery for both sides on the low ground. The probe helping out. Probe from Moray has gone down, so no additional shield batteries will be created in the making of this game, but the zealot Zealot Micro has been perfectly even on both sides now. The health of both doing really well. It is going to be 3 versus 3, but we do have the shield batteries coming in. Full shields on all of the Zealots now, thanks to those. And Quanwu is going to be holding on for his life. Does have the probe advantage. Moray is going to send a probe down here. But looks like we are going to have the Zealots coming in extra here for Moray. Quanwu getting a good couple of hits. The shield barrier, though, coming in clutch. Keeping that Zealot alive at the very, very last second. Now, this is an incredibly close game. We've got a second shield barrier coming up here in view of Quanwu. Obviously, the more shield barrier you have, or the more shield barriers you have, the more shield barrier energy. Now, if you usually watch StarCraft 2, shield barriers in this game are not automatic. You have to cast them manually. You have to target the unit as well, and it's very tough to do it in the heat at the moment. But it looks like we are going to have 6 versus 6. We do have Quanwu with a little bit of extra Zealot health, and obviously he will have the Concave at the top of the ramp. But let's have a look at what Quanwu's going to do. Oh my god, cannons coming in. What a clever decision to go for cannons at the end of that. You can see that Moray needs to get up the ramp. He's going to go in. He wants to cancel this cannon. The cannon finishes. He loses the game. This is a very clutch moment here. Shield barrier going off for both players. I'm losing my voice. Quanwu moved a little bit too far forward there. Very problematic here. Doesn't want to lose anything, but look at the shield barrier micro from both players here. Lots of Zealots. One of them finally falls. The second one about to fall as well. The shield barrier energy is about to run out, and here we go. Quanwu has held on, but Moray is catching up with probes here. Both players still going for a crazy amount. Looks like the cannon going to target down one of those shield batteries here. It looks like Quanwu may have done it. As long as Quanwu continues to macro up behind this, he's going to be in a good position. But looks like we are going to have the Zealots coming down the ramp. Doesn't want to get caught. You can still lose the game here. But the cannon is under fire from the... Oh my god, if the cannon gets the pylon, this is pretty much game over. Looks like Quanwu wants to take the fight. He knows there's no shield barrier energy. He's getting an amazing engagement at the front. The probe soaking up a few of those hits there. Going to go down, but looks like he's done it. Quanwu has taken down Moray here in this incredible PvP. Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into game number 3 here, and this is a bit messy, but it'll be fixed in a second. Don't worry about that. Just can't get to the right menu because I'm a clown. Should be ready, but here we go. We're going to be heading into game 3. It's going to be DM's Tech versus ReV's Sugo. It's the ultimate ace for DM. Tech coming out once again on Andromeda. Played a PBT here last time, which unfortunately did result in a loss for him. But he's been doing pretty well in the end of Season 2 compared to how he did at the beginning of Season 2, so that's kind of cool. So there we go. Let's what are we doing? Let's introduce his opponent, and it's going to be the legacy of Naz. It's Sugo. Sugo, one of the better players from Naz along with Terra, but Sugo was one of the only players that actually stayed from the original North American Naz team. Actually opted to move over to ReV, which is kind of cool. Always good to see him playing. He did win his last game here. It was actually against Hit 'em Up on La Mancha in the ace match against Ash, which was really good in in week 1. Now, the last time he played on Andromeda, it was a PvP where he beat Dreamer. Did a really good job there. And Sugo overall, I mean, his PvP is looking pretty good. It's 72% win rate, so that's pretty crazy. Now, when you look at the map, Andromeda is a little bit more normal than some of the other maps in the map pool. Definitely not Fantasy 2 level of crazy, but still a really fun map. Definitely the most standard though, along with La Mancha. We've only had one PvP here so far, and it was Sugo and Dreamer. It was a relatively long game. I need to put the duration in, but essentially it was around 20 minutes. So maybe we'll get another long PvP on here, not too sure. But the main feature to remember about this map is there's a mineral only in your main base, so it's pretty damn good. Let's head into game number 3. It's Tech vs Sugo here on Andromeda. Okay, the game has begun, and starting us off in the bottom right hand corner is Sugo fighting for ReV. And his opponent spawning down here in the left hand corner is in the magenta, fighting for DM, it's Tech. Now Tech, I did mention, his nickname, at least the nickname I gave him, was the Ultimate Ace, because essentially, in Season 1, every time he came out for an Ace match he would win. Like, he pretty much... I wouldn't say he solo carried them, but DM got into the Round 1 playoffs, and he pretty much carried them there. Like, every time the match would go 2-2, Tech would come out and he would win. It was kind of like a... It was kind of like a guaranteed victory for Tech to come out in the Ace match. It was really, really good. It was so amazing to see. And then near the end of Season 1, the map pool kind of didn't suit his playstyle as much. So he kind of dropped off a little bit. He definitely struggled a little bit with the opponents he was getting as well. Like, every week he seemed to end up against the best players from their respective teams. And he kind of... I think in Season 2 he didn't really play too much, because I think he was a little bit disheartened from the way it went. Now, his opponent, Sugo, kind of played a little bit in Season 1, a little bit in Season 2. And Sugo's always been a really, really strong player from North America. Like, out of all the North American players as well, I feel like Sugo is the least adverse to playing weirder maps, because like whenever I've tried to host anything, like the main people I used to get complaints from, and to be honest, Sugo used to complain as well, was the American players. Like, American players, they like their standard maps, they like things to be normal, and despite that, Naz joined the STPL. They played a ton of games. Unfortunately, where Dragon had to stop running the team for now, like he kind of... I think he'd been doing it for so long that he just wanted a break, so he decided not to enter them into Clan Wars anymore. And then Sugo actually picked up the slack a little bit and decided to join another team. And he's actually fit perfectly into the ReV roster, because ReV had Avilov and Medinho. They were their two kind of mainstays in Season 2. And they really did carry them into the playoffs, because even though their other players did well, and obviously it wasn't just Medinho and Avi winning all the games, like Medinho and Avi were by far their strongest players, and Avilov unfortunately has retired from tournaments after his Season 2 top 9 finish in the STPL, as well as the BSL round of 4, no, was it round of 8 or round of 4 last season? And yeah, when he fell out of BSL this time, he decided not to carry on with STPL as well. So Sugo's kind of moved in and picked up that role. Like, Sugo is a very strong Protoss player from North America, and I'm really excited what he can kind of bring to the roster of ReV. Now, when I think of the playstyles of these two players in PvP, I would say at least stylistically they are very similar. Both of them play very heavy macro styles. Wouldn't surprise me to see a late game between these two, but the rush distances aren't that long. So if maybe, I mean, Sugo's going for 2 gate here, whereas Tech is only going for 1. So maybe Sugo does have a little bit of a time he can go for. Obviously we'll have to see if that is what he chooses to do. But what's Tech going to do here? He's actually going to expand. Yeah, this is that's a little bit risky in a PvP. Like, you put a Nexus down before your opponent, you're skipping out on additional gateways, you're going to have later range most likely. No, he actually got his range first, but he's going to have less units overall, although he is going to be able to go up more gates a little bit quicker once the economy's kicked in. But this is a really good timing for Sugo. His opponent's just spent, I would say that's around 700 minerals on Nexuses and gateways. And all that money you've actually put into units, so if Tech can't micro this properly, he could actually just lose the game here. This is an incredibly strong moment for Sugo in this game. The units are actually favoring Sugo, but very barely. But let's see what the micro is like. It looks like we are going to have the Zealots getting on top of those Dragoons, definitely causing a few problems here. Tech in a little bit of trouble, but Tech with good micro on his Dragoons going to focus down one of his opponents, just doing as much damage as possible to these. Looks like Sugo is going to be able to get up onto the ramp, but the target fire of Tech has been enough to at least soften up a lot of these Dragoons. But this is of course 2 Dragoons and a Zealot in the main base. Not what you want to be seeing. Let's have a look here. The probes have been pulled. They're going to try and force their way through. The Zealot going to go down relatively quickly, not losing a single probe there. Okay, losing a single probe at the end just to prove me wrong. But this is kind of like a... It's kind of like a seesaw. The seesaw is tipped a lot in Sugo's favor with units. And yes, you do have defender's advantage, but when you're completely out of units, it's not going to help you. So let's have a look, see if he can save the Nexus. Obviously this Nexus is the most important point of contention in this entire game. Tech was kind of relying on this Nexus to work. Now he is pushing forward. He does get some really nice target firing, getting 2 of those Dragoons, but unfortunately it's just back to 4 versus 3. I mean, it is going to be 4 versus 4 in a second, but the Nexus is going to go down, and to do this, Sugo has lost very little. Oh my god, is he going to save the Nexus? Sugo should just target the Nexus here. All it takes is like 4 shots. Oh my god, is Tech going to hold on to this Nexus? That would be absolutely insane if he could do it. But it looks like he's not going to be able to. The Nexus is going to go down, and Sugo is going to find himself in a very big lead. Now back at home, we've got Sugo going into ReV Tech here, not going to build a Nexus just yet. Tech himself is fine. Wait, Tech is actually not going into any tech whatsoever, regardless of his name. And this is definitely teetering on the edge of disaster here for Tech, unfortunately, because Sugo, his units are going to get higher and higher in number. His Tech is very far behind. He's going to try and expand to the middle only. To be honest, I think doing this first of all would have been a little bit better, but Sugo could look to put up a little bit of a contain here, but is going to pull back for now. Maybe a little bit worried that there could be a ReV drop coming towards his base, but it's actually going to be him that's going to be ReV dropping first. Okay, let's see where this is going to go from here. I'll zoom back in a little bit because no engagements are going on. Still that triple gateway from Tech, still no additional tech structures, but he is going to double expand. So this is very reminiscent of how Pre plays. You lose 1 expansion, you build 2. Like, there is a couple of ways, as I mentioned, to actually come back in a series. One of the best ways you can do it is by playing aggressively. But you can also play greedy, because Tech knows that he is going to be behind on units for essentially the entire game until they max out. So we'll have to see if he can actually hold on to the onslaught that's going to be coming his way from Sugo. Now Sugo isn't really interested in pushing out. He thinks the Tech is going to be the one attacking him. So he is going to sit in a defensive posture for now. There's actually a probe here. I don't know if Tech knows about this. Is this on the high ground or is it on the low ground? It's on the low ground, right? That must be on the low ground. But yeah, I don't think he used that to build the Nexus either, so I think he's forgotten about it. Pontifex Maximus STPL, the Shinhan Tank Pro League, is a global team league in Brood War. We've got 11 fantastic teams from inside and outside of Korea, and we're on season 3. It's been pretty fun. We've had some amazing games, and we're getting some more amazing games as we go through, so welcome. We have 3 wonderful sponsors in Liquipedia, the Esport Fund, and Matrino, so if you want to support them, you can actually help out by editing articles on Liquipedia and writing stuff up. We've also got a really good prize pool as well. Currently the prize pool sits at $1,200, maybe $1,300 of our $2,000 prize pool goal. And if we can make it to 2,000, that is going to be the biggest prize pool we've had so far, and it's going to be really, really sick. Now, unfortunately, you've chosen to join us in this PvP where both players are kind of just macroing up. They're trying to power. Tech took a lot of damage early on, so he is limping his way back into this game, building 3 probes at a time. Definitely going to be helping him out. Sugo feels ahead, so is doing the very... I would say this is almost a very American mindset of just trying to get more ahead, rather than pushing his advantage and just trying to win the game with a big timing. He's actually just sitting back a little bit. Now, as I say that, he leaves his base, so everything I say is wrong because cast a curse, but let's see if he's actually in a position where he can kill Tech here, because I don't think he is. Look at these Dragoons on the high ground. He's walking into the Valley of Death. Now, there is 2 Reavers here. They're going to be helping out a lot. Looks like the Scarab's not going off here, but those the high ground Dragoons are doing so much. They're eating so many of the hits. But Sugo is pushing in. He's just got a little bit too much here. I was saying that he was kind of sitting back, getting more ahead, thinking he was going to expand. But this is the timing he needed to do. Tech is going to lose his natural expansion again. And it looks like ReV are going to take this game and the series 3-0. But I mean, it was a worthy fight from Tech, unfortunately. Just Andromeda not quite working out for him yet. It's his 2nd game in a row that he's going to lose on this map, and both times it feels like it was almost like a little bit of a lack of scouting, maybe a little bit of overconfidence that cost Tech the game. Now, he is going to maybe, yeah, he does get the Reavers, but unfortunately, I mean, as Rapid would always say, there's a few ways of counting. Like, trolls have, like, some, I don't know. But yeah, GG. Tech leaves the game. Edwarda, Naz left. They have disbanded, so that's why Sugo's in ReV now. So that was a pretty good game by Sugo there. Unfortunately, that was a little bit bad there for Tech. He got a little bit caught off guard. That is going to give ReV the win in the series. But with the STPL, all the games are played, so all the games are shown. So when we get back after this short break, we'll be heading into our 4th and final game of this series. It is going to be Keen versus Hiramu. Don't miss it. It's going to be a ZVZ on tripod. See you guys soon.
STPL Season 3. Yeah.
And people like Kix, for example, who has an encyclopedic knowledge of every map that's ever been released on StarCraft. And
He's the Batman!
Skibidi-bidi-bidi-on-do-do-do. Skibidi-on-do-do-do. Skibidi-bidi-bidi-on-do-do-do.
He's the Batman!
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-dee-da-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Bee-da-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo. Everybody plays one way or the other, so check out my message to you. As a matter of fact, I don't let nothing hold you back. If Kix can do it, so can you. Gooba-dooba-dooba-dee-da-ba-ba-da-bo. Ba-ba-ba-da-bo.
Please don't listen to him for maps.
Yeah.
Cause
Okay guys, welcome back. We're going to be heading into the fourth and final game of this series. Starting us off here for DM, it's going to be Keen. Now Keen, also known as Little Chava, hasn't played in the STPL in 2 years, almost, like a year and a half I guess. Last game was played 2018 October, played on Plasma against Lamozerg. It was a ZVZ, which he did win, but I mean that was a long time ago, so I don't really know what to say there, but Little Chava, pretty cool guy. Looking forward to seeing how he's going to do here in his STPL debut in Season 3. His opponent fighting for ReV is going to be Hyunwoo. Now Hyunwoo is the acting captain of ReV for STPL. They've also got a couple of other captain staff, of course. Incomplete, still around, but not nearly as active. Now he's had a kid, which is kind of cool for him. But Hyunwoo, not the best win rate on ReV for sure, but maybe has one of the biggest hearts. He's always out, always playing. And I mean, in Season 1, he was kind of like the Plasma Master because he always got put out on Plasma. And he's just a really cool Finnish guy. So if you don't know Hyunwoo, now you know a little bit more about him. And he's a really good guy, so talk to him, he's cool. Let's have a look at the map they're going to be playing on. It's going to be Tripod. Now this is the debut of Tripod in the STPL, but it was used in the Africa TV Star League Season 8, so not this season, last season. And it's just really cool to see Tripod in the map pool. Like, obviously BSL this latest season had Transistor, or was it the season before? I can't remember. Was it BSL 9 or BSL 8? I think it was BSL 8. Now, Tripod was kind of Transistor, but done better. There's a lot of neutral buildings on this map, which is obviously a big draw to me, because apparently I love neutral buildings. If it doesn't have a neutral building in the map, I'm not going to put it in. That's what I've heard anyway. But it is a 3-player map. The middle of the map is blocked off by minerals and side disruptors. It means you can get 3 quick hidden bases if you want to. And you also have like 2 naturals, which have half gases. So lots of fun. It is a ZVZ. There's kind of a few paths you can take around the map now. There isn't really too much of a sort of a positional imbalance as such in ZVZ here, so looking forward to getting into the game and seeing how it's going to go. It's Keen versus Hyunwoo on Tripod. Starting us off here in the top left hand corner, it is the Yellow Zerg fighting for ReV from Finland, Hyunwoo. And his opponent spawning down here in the bottom right hand corner, fighting for DM, it's Keen. Now Keen is actually going to get lucky with his Overlord Scout, going to go towards Hyunwoo's base. Certainly a big advantage in ZVZ. Obviously knowledge is power when you play Brood War in general, but in ZVZ when you can find out exactly what your opponent's building, when they've got absolutely nothing they can do about it, it definitely feels very good for a Zerg player. Now we've got a 9 pool coming in for both players here, so both players going to be looking to play a little bit aggressive. Looks like Keen getting ready to build the gas. Yeah, gas coming up here for Keen. Gas coming up here for Hyunwoo. So this could be a very quick ZVZ. But you never know. We could have like an hour-long ZVZ again like we had before. Well, I guess it was like 25 minutes, but it felt like an hour. Now the important question for me is, are we going to see both of them go for speed first, or are they going to go straight for lair? Now it looks like Keen is going to be a little bit late transferring his drones to his gas. We're going to get his gas a little bit quicker. Although saying that, they're going to be completely even, so ignore everything I just said again. But the spawning pool is finishing up now for both players. Are we going to see speed coming in, or is it going to be that lair? Now lair obviously means you can go for mutas a little bit quicker, but it also means you're in a little bit of trouble if your opponent goes for speed and you don't. So it looks like Hyunwoo is going to be saving up here for a lair, whereas Keen has gone for speed. It is going to be speed versus lair. Now, Keen is in chat and just said he went speed first like an idiot, but necessarily that isn't stupid. Now, for some reason, Keen is a little bit confused as to where to go with his lings, I think. So, kind of holding the top of his ramp, maybe thinking that Hyunwoo would be pushing with speed as well. Now, Lair is almost done here for Hyunwoo. Lair is on the way for Keen. I mean, it's not the biggest deal in ZVZ, because you do have that defender's advantage of your opponent actually having to fly towards your base, which takes forever. Now, Stelios DB asks, why does Keen feel like an idiot? Well, the main reason is it's actually very difficult to push up this ramp. You have the morphing eggs that never actually finish. They do have, I think, a decent bit of armor. And you can't really break these two Zerglings. And also it does make your lair a little bit later, as Lucky Noob says. But your lair being later isn't the biggest deal in ZVZ. As long as you don't get it super late, you're okay. I mean, their spires should come up at relatively the same time. Now, neither player is choosing to expand, but both of them have the option of expanding away from their opponent due to the way this map works. Now, you notice that this is only a half gas, and so is this. Now, that is the way they've balanced this. You can get 3 bases incredibly easy. Like, incredibly easy. And the way they get around the fact that that's a little bit broken, they've made the gases half gases. It's a really fun map. We had some really good games on here in ASL as well, so I'm hoping we'll get some good games here in STPL too. Now, just while we kind of wait for them to both power up, I mean, both of them have got a decent number of drones here. I just want to say a massive shout out to our sponsors once again, Liquipedia, Esport Fund and Matrino. We're currently $1,300 towards our prize pool of $2,000 as a goal, so hopefully we can make that by the end. Now the Spire is done for Hyunwoo here. He goes immediately into Carapace. That's actually a risky build to go for, because if you go for Carapace first, that's 1 less Muteless you'll have, but that's actually going to benefit Keen, who did skip, or who did get a later Spire because he went for speed. So Hyunwoo kind of trading his advantage for a better advantage later on, because obviously Carapace makes such a massive difference in ZVZ due to the way the glaives bounce. Now, looks like Keen is going to try and get into this main with his Lings, not going to be able to find any damage, but does force Hyunwoo to stay at home a little bit. The drone coming back out to expand. And there we go, the hatchery coming in. Now Keen has got his hatchery up a little bit quicker, so his second gas is already finished, which is definitely going to benefit him a little bit. Now the upgrade almost halfway done here for Keen, for Hyunwoo even. Keen is just now getting his started. We've got 7 Muteless here for Hyunwoo. We've got 5, sorry, for Keen. Keen obviously going to have the additional lava coming in here very shortly, which he's going to use for Scourge for the time being. We've got 6 versus 7. Hyunwoo going to continue to add on Muteless most likely. Now, I'm kind of interested to see where this game is going to go from here, because, I mean, both of them, they've not played the most aggressive ZVZs at the moment. I mean, neither player really wants to leave their base. They don't have much information on what their opponent's doing. Obviously, Keen has a little bit more, knowing the fact his opponent's expansion is way later than his. We can already see Hyunwoo getting ready for that expansion. Now, Keen has actually managed to fit in 3 additional drones here, so he is going to have a better economy. Those 3 drones will most likely be in the gas. But with neither player attacking each other here, it means we get into that odd situation in ZVZ where we could actually get a macro game, which is not something you see every day. When you see a Hive in a ZVZ after having 2 games where you saw nukes and lockdown in earlier games today's STPL, you know that today's a good day, and it couldn't possibly get any better. But it looks like Hinmu is going to be moving across the map now to try and find a little bit of damage. Now, going to fly into the main here, going to fly straight into 2 Scourge. Does need to be careful. 1 goes down. Now, the upgrade advantage is in favor of Hinmu here. It's going to be 8 versus 9 though. And Hinmu, despite having that upgrade lead, is actually finding himself in a very awkward position. It's 7 versus 5. It looks like Hinmu going to be running away, but this does give Keen the option of going for those moving shots, which he's going to. And this could be the straw that broke the camel's back here for Hinmu. Even though he had the upgrade advantage, he just didn't have enough Mutalisks to make use of it. And that's just really, really unfortunate, but we'll have to see how that's going to go. Now, Hinmu is still down in workers as well, which makes his remax, well, I say remax, I mean, neither player are anywhere near maxing, but kind of remaxing for ZVZ is going to be way delayed. Looks like the drones in the natural are going to be taken down. Looks like Hinmu wants to come in for a fight, but lots of Scourge connecting on both sides. It's 5 versus 2? 4 versus 2? I shift clicked, but looks like a couple of Mutalisks are going to come in here to help defend this, but +1 Carapace has kicked in for Keen as well, so the upgrade advantage is no longer there. But there's so many units coming down here for Keen. I think it's just a little bit too much. Looks like DM are going to win their game of Pride in the last game of this series. Now Keen is going to have to worry about those Scourge. Doesn't want to be losing the Mutalisks, because you can get some weird, crazy comeback situations in ZVZ, but I don't think that's going to be one of them. Hinmu, unfortunately, is going to lose the game here. Keen is in the main. He's actually going to be microing against a couple of Scourge. Does get a really nice kill there. And I mean, this is really nice mutant micro, given the fact it is USA versus Europe as well. So really, really good job, Keen. You did a great job this game. And you've definitely kept... I mean, obviously you can't win the series for DM, but you definitely got the moral victory here. GG, Hinmu taps out, and Keen takes game number 4. Now, when I say they got the moral victory, I more mean Keen did there. Unfortunate for Hinmu. It's obviously sad to see Hinmu lose like that, and to see ReV not make their 4-0 sweep, which would be pretty good for them. But I do want to point out that that's actually the second time now in a row that ReV have actually beaten DM. Earlier on in the STPL, they lost 3 in a row, so they're slowly climbing or clawing their way back. They don't meet very often each year, but when they do, I mean, it looks like ReV are getting the better end of the stick at the moment. Let's actually have a look at the results. Where are we? Here we go. And here we go. So the results up here. DM, of course, getting the loss there. Clan Revolution with the 3-1 win. Narsil taking down Pre. Medino taking down White. Sugo taking down Tech. And then Keen keeping the pride alive there for DM, making sure they didn't get swept over Hinmu on Tripod. Now, I was planning to do 2 series today, but my throat is hurting a little bit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put a pause on today's cast. I mean, it's not a major thing because we're not middle of a series or anything. But what we'll do is we'll watch Seoul versus EF on Wednesday. When we watch, what's the other series I'm going to cast? Where are we? Yeah, so on Wednesday, we'll watch IRK versus Valhalla team, which should be amazing. And we'll watch EF versus Seoul then as well. Now, EF are actually coming off a very good victory over White Clan. So they're looking to carry on their win streak by taking down the top 2 teams in the STPL in a row. Can they do it? We'll have to find out when we get into those series on Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, of course, to... our wonderful, wonderful sponsors, Liquipedia, Matcherino and Esport Fund. Without them, the STPL wouldn't be nearly as big as it is. We've got a $1,300 prize pool so far. We've had a couple of donations on Matcherino as well, which is great. And a massive thank you, of course, to our patrons. I do need to fix the patron video at the moment, but essentially, let me have a look at who they are, just so I can read out all the names. We've got Ash, well, we've got Dez, Buenaventura from ReV, Captain Beefy, Dr. Bear, Dreamer, Gosuvigi, Kamchak, Testing123, Shad, William E. Bird, and Winnower. All of you are helping grow the STPL. It's a massive, massive help. Now, if you guys want to support the STPL, you can do it monetarily through subbing to the channel, subbing to Patreon. Now, if you want access to more than 1,000 replays from the STPL archives, you can do so by subbing at $5 a month on Patreon. And of course, you can donate to the Maturino to increase the prize pool. Now, there is another way you can donate in Maturino. You can use the code STPLS3 to donate 50 cents completely free. It's not going to cost you anything, so it's definitely worth to do it. The code's in chat and everything. But have a very good evening, everyone. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time. See you on Wednesday.